Hey everybody, have a careful look here at the MidTower Deluxe. Notice something missing here? Yeah, where's all the water cooling stuff at, you may say? Yeah, for the first time in about 7 years, the MidTower Deluxe is actually being air cooled. The last time this machine was air cooled was back in late 2010. That was at that time that I got a Corsair H50 pre-filled water cooling system for Christmas, and I installed it in the MidTower Deluxe back when it had the Phenom 2 965 Black Edition processor. And in 2011 I went with the custom water cooling loop, and over that period of almost 7 years this machine has been water cooled. It has not seen a heatsink fan on the CPU in all that time, but we have the tried and true Sunbeam Silent Whisper heat pipe cooler in there. This is actually the one out of Black Max. This was cool in the Black Max up until about 2013. I actually got some pretty decent CPU overclocks out of that heatsink fan assembly there. It actually overclocked. I was actually able to overclock a socket 939 AMD Athlon 64. I think it was a 3200 plus. Stock 2 GHz, overclocked it to 2.5 GHz. It's actually a chip out of an HP computer. Anyways, yeah, you're probably wondering, okay, so where is the water cooling system at? Where's it? What's going on here? Well, if you watched the recent video where I went over plans to upgrade the MidTower Deluxe here pretty soon, I mentioned that the MidTower Deluxe will probably go back to air cooling for a brief little while, because the water block, as you see here, was built before socket AM4 came out. So the holes on an AM4 are actually different than AM3. Now, of course, this graphic here is not all that great for showing on video, but the lighter dots here are socket AM3 plus. The black dots are socket AM4. So they're very, very close to each other. Not far at all, really. And the manufacturer of this water block, Heat Killer, or Water Cool, I think is the actual brand. I don't think, from what I remember, they're not actually located in the United States. And while they do actually seem to manufacture adapters for this, getting them here would be a bit time consuming and aggravating to do such. So I'm going to actually take this water block into work where they have a drill press, and I'm going to actually drill 4 new holes to where this will mount up to a socket AM4. Okay, just for a simple rundown, the way this block works, it's very simple. A lot simpler than others on the market, where you have to take out your motherboard and change out your back plate and all that good stuff. This one, however, you don't have to do all that. It actually utilizes the factory block that's already installed with your motherboard. I don't actually have the screws with me, but they're in the living room. The way this will work, though, is you would, of course, we'll use this dead motherboard here as an example. This is socket AM2, which is the same thing as AM3 as far as the bracket goes. Pop that in there. So let's say this is your motherboard. You would pull off the factory top half of your mounting system, which are all about the same, unless you have some real cheap-end motherboard like an ECS board that had riveted snap ends. Most motherboards have the screws and the metal backplate. What you would do is you would take that out, remove it, and with the included screws that come with this CPU block, you would reuse the backplate, and this would get installed like so, like that. So it's pretty simple, I'd say. But what we gotta do is we gotta crack this open. Well, first of all, I want to inspect it. It's had the same coolant run through it for what, 6 years? Yeah, Fluid XP Plus. Ever since I installed the thing in 2011. So I want to open this up, make sure everything looks good in there. Make sure the block is in good health before I go to spend a bunch of time modifying it. Make sure it's in good health. And see how this comes off here. I'm not sure if this is in 2 separate pieces or if it's just one. We're about to find out. Okay, let's see how hard it is to get into this daggum thing. I've got a set of Allen keys. And we have 6 Allen screws on the bottom of it that come off to open the thing up. Okay, let's have a look inside here. Not too bad. At least I think. Got a little bit of residual coolant still left in there. This is Fluid XP Plus. I have to say, for 6 years of use, this doesn't look bad. At least in my opinion, it doesn't look bad at all. So there's a little bit of crud in there, but nothing too major. It wasn't stopped up or anything like that. Yeah, that's a biggie. It wasn't stopped up. I think the biocides, or whatever the heck you call it in this stuff, actually worked pretty well. At one point during this block's service life so far, I had topped off the system with distilled water because it was low. I don't know if the stuff had sort of evaporated over time, but one thing I know for sure would result in reduced performance out of your water block or something like this is lots of crud getting inside there and blocking up the passageways. That'd be a biggie. So I'd say it's rather interesting to see the way this block works. You had these very thin. It's sort of like I got a heatsink over here. It's a good example. Let's say, for example, this old Athlon XP heatsink. You see how these all copper fins are real thin, and the way air can just slip right through. These cores worked very well at heat dissipation. They were very, very good performers. I had a socket. Well, I still have it somewhere. A socket 478 Intel cooler from Thermaltake. It was original heatsink fan. I was on the Pentium 4 version of the Cube Computer Plexi and the MidTower Deluxe. Very solid performing heatsink, I have to say. So the way this works is coolant comes in through your center barb, hits straight into here. So the water hits directly against your CPU core right there in the center, essentially, and spreads out horizontally and exits back up through here. So I think theoretically, this cooler, this block, I don't think it really matters which way you mount it, whether you mount it vertically. I mean, like, I'm sorry, not vertically, but you mount it like, let's say like that or like that. I'd recommend doing it like that, at least in my opinion. Well, still, it's kind of hard to say, because if you mount it like this on your, which I think this is actually the correct way to mount it, you would potentially be battling some air pockets up in here. Whereas if it was just mounted like that, your air pockets would rise to the top and come right out. I think it's more of a matter of opinion. But at least now I can take this in and modify it to the correct size. I could probably, matter of fact, yeah, I could actually take these two pieces out. However, I'm not so sure if I really want to do that. I may just take the whole thing in, so that way I'll have it in full as a reference. If necessary, I can remove the barbs. I just want to see how well my template actually fits up here, because I'll be using the template here I printed as my reference for drilling the new holes. And I'm sorry I'm doing this off camera, but I just gotta get it lined up on there. Yeah, I'd say this is drilled pretty accurately. I mean, I'm sorry, not drilled, but printed pretty accurately to size. So what I could do is I could drill 4 new holes, one here, one here, one here, and one here. Or I could take drill and actually just bore out this metal toward this direction. So let's take a look at the screws that actually go in it right quick. You see, the thing is, if I were to bore the holes out too large, you see that's perfect size there. But if I was to bore them out too large, I would have to use washers along with these bolts. I would have to put a washer on the front of the spring. So that's why I want to be careful about drilling these new holes. Okay, so in case you wondered, I did try the drill, and that's just simply not going to work. As soon as I started to try to drill this a little bit, the bit decided it wanted to wander around. So that's exactly why I'm going to be using the drill press. Because you keep your subject in its spot, and you pull the lever and push the drill, the fixed drill down. So that way we can get a more precise drill to this bracket. So we get that drilled, and we should be able to use it with the new rising platform. It's amazing. They had to fix something. They had to fix something that wasn't broken. You know, this lineup, AMD has used that style mounting, since socket AM2. Since what, 2006? I think that's the year AM2 came out. Yeah. Something that hasn't been changed for 10 years, roughly. When the Ryzen comes out, they're like, oh, we need to change that. We need to instead have them a little closer and a little further out. Yeah. So they had to fix something that wasn't broken, causing many users to have to either replace their water blocks or have to do modifications to their existing ones to make them work with the new platform. For those of you who are using air coolers, of course you're okay, because although the brackets have changed, I do believe the clips are exactly in the same spot as before. So if you're air cooling, you should be fine. It's just if you're water cooling, you're pretty much screwed. So we're gonna get this drilled out, and tomorrow we'll see how that goes. So in case you're wondering what happened to the rest of the stuff that goes with the water cooling system, well, here it is, sitting here in the bathtub. I just went and pulled it all off. Going to be replacing the tubing anyway, so I figured may as well go ahead and rip it all off. It didn't take much to get it off the top of the machine. It was just hot glued to the top. And of course it had been there for many years, including during the move from over to the old place to the new place. I haven't actually drained the coolant yet. I did actually drain the coolant somewhat to get the block loose from the loop so I could disassemble it. As you can see, it looks like there's coolant in those lines, but actually no, there's not. That is what Fluid XP Plus does to your lines over several years. It stains the crap out of them. That was originally clear tubing from Lowe's, and they are just stained as all can be. So this is the coolant. There's a little bit of stuff in there. I guess probably what was in that probably what was in the radiator. I still got to drain the reservoir and the pump out, and I'm going to try to flush everything out pretty good. And then tear the tubing loose and put brand new tubing on it. Put it back into the machine, all that good stuff. I'll probably be doing this after I swap out the hardware for the new stuff, so this is a kind of wait and see matter. My new coolant is supposed to be here Thursday. And the coolant I got this time is clear. It does not have any color to it. After what Fluid XP Plus has done to these lines, I think I may just prefer to keep it clear. I have to say, for 6 years of use, 6 years roughly, yeah. The system don't look all that bad. There's a little bit of gunk inside the water block, but it was nothing bad, nothing major. Hey everybody, I sure hope you guys enjoyed this video from Cube Computer Channel. Remember to like the video, subscribe to Cube Computer Channel for more updates, and remember to tick the bell so you actually get notified of these updates. Did you know that I am also on a second channel that's Cube Comp MTDX? Over there you'll find videos of bicycling, weather, elevators, and all sorts of other neat and interesting stuff. Feel free to subscribe to that channel as well. And again, I thank you for your support, and thanks for watching this video.